Hi, I'm Melissa from Sunshine Coast Council, and we're standing here on site today at Witta, where we've tested a project for landholders like you to think outside the box for different weed management and bush regeneration techniques. We all know the benefits of replacing weed species with a diversity of native plants for different land uses such as agriculture or conservation. But it's not always easy, and there's some really challenging areas to try to manage. When we first arrived here at the site, the entire area was choked full of a vast variety of different weed species. It was so thick, we didn't even know what was underneath it. And the slope we've got here is up to 60 degrees. We trialled a range of different methods to figure out what would work in these challenging situations, and if they weren't working, learning about why not. Like anything big, we broke it down into bite-sized pieces. The 4-step approach is a really good structure that you can follow. It's simple, it's applicable to any situation, and it really helps to break it down into smaller steps. Step 1 is to have a goal in mind. What we wanted here was to provide that connection of native vegetation and to increase the amount of natural seed bank that we've got here on site. So this is a cordyline, which is more of a shrub. So bringing in that next level of vegetation into the site. Fantastic native plant to have throughout, and it matches in with our broader environment of what we're trying to achieve. Step 2 is to read the landscape. We've got steep slopes throughout the site that we've had to try to work with. That has also had landslips that has been quite challenging to work through. We also chose not to remove all the weeds straight away. We left some of the lantana in place so that it could provide that good stabilization of the soil until we were ready to remove it and then plant it out with our native vegetation. It's about looking at the bigger context of what's happening in the whole area. So step 3 is to identify your constraints. At this site, we had a fair number of them to try to deal with, including the slope, access to the site, the time frame we were working within, the land size, and also weather, which has made growing conditions fantastic, but a lot of weeds to try to keep on top of. So we prioritised which species to focus on that were going to potentially provide the biggest threat, and that was our vine species. We intentionally left certain patches of weed species such as lantana as they were providing good stabilisation and our native plants could still grow through it, and focused instead on the vine species such as Madeira vine and the grass species as they can smother our native plantings and regeneration coming up. Throughout the site, we planted a range of different species, including trees such as the macaranga and bleeding heart and eucalypt species, all the way down to smaller shrubs such as cordylines and ground covers like our native grasses. So step 4 is to choose your tools. Because of our steep 60-degree slope, we got a remote mulcher in to help us. Unfortunately, we did have to accept a little bit of collateral damage with our natives throughout the area with the remote mulcher, but we had to do that so that we could have the access to the area and see what we were working with. We also trialled herbicide encapsulation in some invasive coral trees and privet to see how that would compare to with our standard drill and fill technique. We also use knapsack sprayers and brush cutters, which are standard options that a lot of people already know about or have access to. We're really happy with the results that we're seeing here. We've achieved a lot in a very short period of time. So if you're struggling with difficult weed areas on your property, feel free to try out our 4-step process. Hopefully what we've achieved here on this site with some really big challenges inspires you to give something new a go and see what might be possible. All the best and happy weeding.